West Coast in the morning to find a place where no one knows our faces or our names. If we don't leave now, we might never make it out alive. Plans are changing, rearranging all the time. So come away with me, let's break free. We could fall asleep where the land and ocean meet. Wake up to the sounds of no one around. And as the sun comes up, the glow will show us where we need to go. All this waiting, so frustrating, let's just drive. So come away with me, let's break free. Just you and me.
Welcome to my channel. It's me, Nadia. I'm so excited. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about an important concept to me, and that is self-validation. Go ahead and get your tea or something to drink so we can just go ahead and chit chat about this. First, I just want to have a disclaimer out there. This is just my opinion. This is just me talking. This is just me saying what I want on my channel. And if it resonates with you, go ahead and continue to listen. But the reason why I want to talk about self-validation, if you look at my channel and you see anything that I am, if you guys are with me and we're friends, then you know that, of course I show things in my life that I'm happy about and proud of, but you don't see me talking too much about my accolades or exactly who I am as a person. You'll see more of what I like doing, what I enjoy doing, what I like talking about, where I'm going and things like that. But I want to talk about something about the reason why self-validation is important to me is because I feel like validation is important. Most of us want to be validated. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, and that's a normal human response, in my opinion, to have and want. But when it gets dangerous is when you don't get that validation. Then what? Then what are you gonna do? Or let's say you're in a stage in life where you don't even feel like you want to validate yourself. Then what are you gonna want to do? So I want to go ahead and talk about the definition of self-validation. So it's a feeling of having recognized, confirmed, or established one's own worthiness or legitimacy. Okay? So there has been times in my life, most of the times I always felt validated. I always felt like I was legit, no matter what I did or what I didn't do. But there is a certain time when you hit a certain age, or for me at least, when I was becoming a young woman, there is things in my life that I didn't have that I didn't have or wanted, and it was taking time for me to get established, And those things were important to me, and when I didn't have those things, I started to really, really have a poor concept of myself, because it was people not validating me as well, and it was me not validating myself. And what hurt me the most is when I noticed I wasn't validating myself. Okay? So in my 20s, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, the reason why I don't talk about certain things in my personal life is because I coveted certain things in my life. I coveted having a career. That was important to me. Number one thing, having a career, having my own life, and doing these kind of things. That was like number one. And then my second thing that I dreamed and prayed about, I'm talking about dreamed and prayed about and wanted so bad, and my dreams came true, but I wanted to get married. I wanted to have children. I wanted to have a career. All these things I wanted, and I prayed to God about it. But my life and the choices that I made and just the way that life worked out, it took a long time for those things to happen, okay? So I was in the process of doing those things. And I remember when somebody said to me one day, Nadia, one day you're going to be somebody. Let's repeat that again. Nadia, one day you're going to be somebody. I was like 23 or 24 years old or something like that, 25. And I thought to myself, this person is saying this to me. They're not trying to hurt my feelings. I can tell that they're saying this in a way of endearment or saying this in a way to be, not to be hateful or mean, because words matter. But you know what they're saying to me? Nadia, one day you're going to be somebody. And I thought to myself, I'm somebody today. I'm somebody right now. At 24 years old, that's why words matter. And sometimes you say things, and maybe sometimes I say things to people that it hurts them, or, I'm the kind of person where I don't take things too internally. I took that word internally, but I didn't take it at them trying to offend me or hurt my feelings, But I thought to myself, what does he mean by that? So does that mean that I'm not somebody today? That's what I felt like he was saying to me. See, that might not been that might have not been the message that he was sending me, but it was a message that I was internalizing for myself. So you have to understand those things. Sometimes somebody says something to you, and that might not even be the intention of what they're trying to say. Sometimes your own battle within yourself will make an interpretation of what somebody said to you. That's why words are very, very complex, because you don't know how somebody's going to interpret the words that are coming out your mouth. That's why you have to be careful how you talk and how you say things, because it could be misconstrued depending on the psyche of a person. So maybe my psychology on that day was thinking, I don't have the things that I want right now, and he says someday I'm going to be somebody, and so right now I'm not somebody. And so that really, there's just certain things in my life that stayed with me, and I thought to myself, no, I'm not living like this. I am not going to live in a way while I'm working on doing things for the things that I want, where I'm not going to appreciate who I am today, who I am right now, the moment that I am right now. I'm validating myself, okay? It doesn't matter if it takes 100 years for me to get the things that I want, because you know what I realized? I can enjoy things in my life going through the journey. You know what I mean? I can enjoy the processes and the stages I'm at going through the journey of what I want in my future in my life. Another thing I realized is that I can work for things that I want. I can work hard for it. Sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it won't. It's really up to God. It's really about, life circumstances and what opportunities I have, how hard I'm willing to do something, how bad I want something, if the doors will open for me, if it's in line in my life, you know what I'm saying? So then that's when I have to realize, okay, I might be wanting these things, but I cannot let something I can't let some outside resources or things in my life to decide if I'm gonna feel worthy or not. I have to feel worthy in the moment that I'm in right now. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you guys? Because I feel like anything in life, whatever you want, it could end up being what hurts you the most, okay? Anything you want in your life, whatever you strongly desire or want, it could be something that could hurt you the most, because what if you don't get it? What if you want something so bad and you don't get it, no matter how hard you try, no matter what? Then what? Are you going to let that just kind of destroy or limit your whole possibility in life? Are you going to let that tear you down so bad that you're not going to be able to enjoy the moment that you're in? So I had to learn, I had to self-reflect. I had to accept things in my life, and I had to also say, I am not going to be too attached to this external thing for me to feel validated by myself. I'm gonna just go ahead and say, you know what? I'm gonna enjoy every single day as much as I can, and I'm gonna validate myself and my worthiness no matter what's going on in my life, no matter what I have and what I don't have. And it was really hard because I didn't have what I wanted for a long time. I was like, I'm gonna start. But yeah, I didn't have what I wanted for a long time, you guys. I didn't have what I wanted for a long time. And I knew that some of the things I wanted was, one, it might not end up happening. Two, it might take forever. So I had those two things. So I said, okay, worst case scenario, if this doesn't happen, how am I gonna deal with this? Second, if it's taking forever, how am I gonna enjoy these little steps that I'm going through? How am I gonna validate myself? So that's why in this channel, you won't see me talking about my career too much, because I coveted my career. I was so obsessed with it. that I realized that, you know, when you want something so bad and you finally get it and it's not exactly what you wanted, so that can kind of hurt too. So that's one thing that happened to me. And you know, the second thing is where you want to be able to connect to people in a way that doesn't have to do with what you're doing in your life. Like, oh, you want to connect to me and do this for a living, or I do that for a living. No, I want to connect to people that transcends what I do. You know, it's not who I am, it's what I do. So I want to make things where it transcends what I do. I love what I do. I appreciate what I do. I don't mind doing what I do probably till I'm old, because I don't mind doing it. Like my job, my career, I don't mind doing it. Another thing is marriage and relationships. First of all, that's sacred to me, my marriage and my relationship with my husband. And so, you know, I will get offended if you guys talk about my husband. You know what I'm saying? Or if you attack my love life, like that's gonna be something that I'm gonna get irritated by. But if you make fun of me and say, if you make fun of me as a person, I can handle that. You know, I can handle anything, honestly, but if you make fun of me as a person, somebody makes fun of me as a person, I really don't care. Or my lifestyle and say, well, look at your little apartment or something like that, you know, or just make fun of my lifestyle, or make fun of my hair or something, make fun of my face, make fun of my voice. Like I can handle those certain things. So that's another reason why. But I also want to be able to connect people who don't have the same lifestyle as me. I want to be able to talk to people who don't live exactly like me, because I feel like we can all relate to each other if we really want to, just on the fact that I'm a woman and I'm living this thing called life, and I have things that I want to share with you guys, and there's things that I want to share. I like cooking, I like exploring, I like psychology and sociology, I like relationships, I like, you know, those kind of things. What can I share in those kind of levels? So I feel like some of the things I don't share is because I first don't want to project myself and trying to show people like, look at me, validate me, or something like that. You know, I don't want to have things out here where it's because I'm trying to validate myself. It's more about me trying to showcase or just share. You know, it's just like sharing. You know, like show and tell. Like, you know, like in kindergarten, I don't know how old you guys are, where on Fridays or something like that, I think it was called show and tell, you know? And so you bring whatever you care about, and then this is what I did in my school, in kindergarten. I remember they say, bring something you want to care about, bring something that you are passionate about, idea, a concept, something in your household, something, and come and show and tell. So my channel is just show and tell, you know? It's what I want to show and what I want to tell. So to bring this back to you, because at the end of the day, you're watching this, so this is part of me, but it's also a part of you. How do you validate yourself? Of course, we want to be validated by other people. Of course, I accept that. I want to be validated by other people. I want to be seen by other people, because I'm a human being. That's what life's about. You want to be validated by the people around you. You want to feel like people think you're worthy. There's nothing wrong with that. But how do you self-validate yourself? How do you allow yourself to say that I'm good enough just the way that I am? How do you react or respond when you don't feel like you have the things that you want in your life, you know? How do you respond to yourself, and how are you kind to yourself? How do you remind yourself that no matter what, you're worthy? And then on top of that, once you do that to yourself, you self-reflect and decide those things on your own. How do you validate other people? How do you show other people that they're worthy, that they're important, that they matter? You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a loophole when you care about yourself, when you value yourself, when you decide that I'm important and so are you. Because I don't believe, this is my philosophy, I don't think anybody is more important than anybody. That's just my opinion. You don't have to believe it. But of course, we live in a society that decides, well, if you have this, then we have class systems, right? So we got lower class, middle class, upper class, right? We have those things, and this is the life that we live in, because it's just not a fair place. Life isn't fair. But how can you be fair to yourself internally? How can you be fair to yourself internally so you can combat what this external world is throwing at us? You get what I'm saying? Like, how can you self-validate yourself internally so you don't let this outside world affect you internally? How can you validate yourself internally so you don't let this outside world affect you, this external world affect you internally. So that's what I do, because believe it or not, you might see one person and say, wow, they have this, this, and that, but you don't know what kind of struggles and things that they have going on internally, right? And so you could even be a person who has everything that you want, dream, and desire, but you might have still internal things. So I feel like our internal world is the most important world that we have. And it's the only thing that we can control, right? You can't control other people, but you can control how you perceive yourself. You can control how you validate yourself. You can control how you treat other people. You can control what offends you and what doesn't offend you. You can control how you process information. You can control how you behave when something that happens to you that you don't like. You can control that, right? You know, so self-validation, self-control, self-discipline, kindness to yourself, self-love, those things, you know, it all starts with you. The more you can ground yourself, the more that you can make yourself whole, the more you can nourish yourself, the better that you can be for other people. The better you can be for other people, because you might, when you start really caring and loving about yourself, and you start seeing things and start processing things differently, you will start seeing that somebody else, you can start putting your feet in somebody else's shoes. You can start having sympathy, you can start having empathy, and think to yourself, I did this horrible, dumb thing last week. I treated somebody bad. I did something, or this happened to me last week. Somebody did me dirty or did me wrong, right? And then you think to yourself and say, what can I do that is this kinder to other people? What have I done to other people that was wrong, that was rude, that was nasty? I didn't like the way that felt when it was done to me. How can I start making other people's lives a little bit better? How can I start treating other people better? How could I be a better person for myself, but then treat other people better? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you here? Yeah. It just happens with age, you know? It just happens with age, I think. You start seeing that we're more connected with each other than we realize. We're more alike than we're not alike. You know what I mean? And so my DNA, the way that I'm built, my mindset, there's probably a whole bunch of people who are like me, think like me. And so I feel like we have to understand that we all have the same blueprint most of the times. So that's my journey. That's my break. That's my new beginning. And see, I used to be a person who was just, I didn't think about things like that. Honestly, I remember processing information, but I never had language for the things that I processed. I never had understanding of the things that I seen or the things that happened in my life. It was just processed, and I was just floating around life, not putting the dots and the pieces together. Now I'm starting to see the pieces, and I'm starting to see the dots, and I'm starting to see, like, wow, it's really connected. It's so much deeper than I realized that it was. And you're probably like wondering, what is she talking about? But see, what I'm talking about is just life. I'm just talking about life. I'm just talking about life. So I guess that's what this channel is about. It's just about my life and my little bubble, and possibly how my journey has something to do with your journey. You know? Because we all have our own journeys, right? So